A U.S. presidential advisory panel has recommended sweeping limits on government surveillance programs, including requiring a court to sign off on individual searches of phone records and stripping the National Security Agency of its ability to store that data from Americans. It was unclear how the changes, if enacted, would impact the scope of the vast government surveillance programs. President Barack Obama ordered the review board to submit recommendations following government spying disclosures earlier this year. He's expected to announce his decisions in January. Jessica Stone has the story.
The White House released the results of its 4-month-long review of surveillance programs in the United States on Wednesday. The 308-page report contains a section on information gathering and one on information protection for both U.S. and non-U.S. citizens. Here are some key recommendations from the panel. Number one, the U.S. government should end government storage of metadata and store it privately for specific national security-related queries. So this means that information would not be accessible without proving there's a national security reason to analyze it. The report also calls on the U.S. to limit the surveillance of non-citizens who communicate with Americans. And it recommends reaching agreements with allied governments to specifically address surveillance of their citizens. The report also recommends the creation of a high-level approval process for surveillance of foreign leaders. And of course, that has been quite controversial. U.S. President Barack Obama met with the review panel Wednesday morning. All of them agreed to release the report early to the public. They were initially planning to do so in January, and the president was supposed to make an announcement of what the White House would implement after that. But the administration says that the plan was derailed by leaks to the press about the report, which they say were inaccurate. Here's the White House press secretary announcing the release Wednesday afternoon.
While we had intended to release the review group's full report in January, as I said earlier, given inaccurate and incomplete reports in the press about the report's content, we felt it was important to allow people to see the full report to draw their own conclusions.
The White House is not announcing what, if any, of these recommendations it will implement. That is going to happen next month as planned, and the U.S. president will make remarks about his implementation strategy to the public. We expect those to come before his State of the Union address, which is at the end of January. Jessica Stone, CCTV, Washington.